Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel Cooking for the Family. I'm Dyvonne, and today we're going to be making strawberry quick bread. It is springtime and we have so many nice fruits that are coming into season for the spring and summer, and so I love making quick breads, the loaf breads, and so I'll be sharing a lot of different recipes for those. And if you are a beginner baker, quick breads are something that is easy to try to master. And so I'll share with you different tips on how to make some really great quick breads. So I have here my nice, beautiful strawberries. I went on and I rinsed them in my colander, and then I like to put them on a paper towel and dry off any of the excess water. And I'll share with you why that serves two purposes when baking our bread. Now I went on and I hulled our strawberries, and hulling your strawberries is cutting out that center part where we have the stem coming out, the green part. When you cut out that center, that's called hulling. And so I went on and I hulled our strawberries, and then you want to cut them about this size, no bigger than, I always like to give like a reference point, no bigger than a nickel, but you want to try to keep your sizes closer to a dime. Now we're going to be baking strawberry bread, but if you want to make a mixed berry bread, you can definitely do that. We're going to be using 2 cups of strawberries total. This silver cup that I'm using is a 1 cup measure, so I know I have 1 cup of my diced berries, and then I'm going to fill it up again for my 2nd cup. And when I said you can make mixed berries, like you can do strawberries and blackberries and raspberries, you can do about 2 to 3 different berry types, but you always want to make sure that you're going to be using 2 cups of berries total. Now I have here 1/3 cup of berries that I've also went on and I've chopped those as well and cut those into pieces. That is going to go towards our frosting that we're going to be making for our strawberry bread. I'm going to be using 2 bowls, and the reason why I'm using 2 bowls is one is going to be for our dry ingredients and one's going to be for our wet ingredients. So in my bowl I put 3/4 of a cup of sugar. That was a 3/4 cup measure, and I'm also going to put in 1 egg. Now for the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients always go in the larger bowl because we'll be adding the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. So I put my 1 large egg that I had at room temperature, because that room temperature egg is going to mix and blend so much better into our batter. Then I added in some vanilla extract, and that was 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Next I'm going to be putting in some vegetable oil. You can also use canola oil. So this is vegetable oil, and I put in 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. So in my bowl I have my 3/4 cup of sugar, my 1 large egg at room temperature, my teaspoon of vanilla extract, and I also have the 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. I use my wire whisk and I whisk everything around and get it nice and frothy, making sure I want to start to dissolve the sugar. And so that's why I went on and I whisked everything around. Then I have my buttermilk, and I like to whisk those ingredients before I add in my buttermilk so I can really get those eggs frothy. So the buttermilk, I put in 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Be sure to shake your buttermilk before adding it, because sometimes the buttermilk can settle. So be sure to shake your buttermilk, and we'll put in 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Then I go ahead and I whisk. Once I add the buttermilk, I'll go ahead and whisk everything together. And this is what you want your base to look like, the base of your wet ingredients. And now we're going to get together our dry ingredients. Now for our dry ingredients, I'm using unbleached all-purpose flour. You can also use regular flour, as in regular all-purpose flour. And what you want to do is you want to take your spoon and gently spoon your flour into your measuring cup. The reason why I do this, it keeps me from filling my measuring cup and having the flour being packed in there, and then we end up with more flour than we need. And so you want to whisk off the top of the flour once you have everything spooned in. So you want to do that. You just fluff up your flour with your spoon and gently spoon it into your measuring cup. And you see how I'm just whisking off the top to even it out, just like that. And then I tap on the side to make sure that I have no air pockets and I have a nice even measure. To give our bread a nice rise, we're going to be using 2 leveling ingredients. The first is going to be baking powder and baking soda. And so we've used 1 teaspoon of baking powder and we're going to use a half a teaspoon of baking soda. The combination of that is going to have our bread have a nice light fluffy texture, which is going to be instead of it being like a real dense bread with the buttermilk and those two ingredients, it's going to be a little lighter than normally a dense like bread would be, and so it's perfect combination with the fresh fruit. Then I go ahead and I add in some salt, and that was a half a teaspoon of just regular salt. I use my fork because I want to whisk those dry ingredients together, so that way we can distribute the salt, the baking powder, and the baking soda and the flour. Everything is mixed together well in a nice combination. Then we're going to add our dry ingredients into the wet. And the reason why we add the dry to the wet is to keep our batter from clumping. By adding the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients, that allows us to slowly go ahead and mix in and hydrate the flour. If we were to do it the other way around and add the wet ingredients on top of the dry ingredients, it would clump. And so you always want to make sure that you add the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, just like I'm doing here. And that is typically the rule of thumb when it comes to mixing in your batters, especially when you're doing hand mixing in the batters, just like we're doing today. I gently fold, going from top to bottom and around the sides, making sure I have no dry ingredients left. Then for our strawberries that we had chopped, I put in 1.5 tablespoons of flour. And the reason why we had dried off our flours really well is because we want to make sure that when we put on our flour like we're doing now, this flour is going to help our strawberries cling throughout our batter and not all the strawberries settle at the bottom. So I put in the 1.5 tablespoons. So you want to have your dried berries really dried well, so that way that flour that we put on before we go ahead and we fold our berries into our batter is because you don't want to have the flour get clumpy on you. So you want to have those dry berries, and also you didn't want to have any excess moisture. We don't want to have any excess water on our berries that would be introduced to our batter. Our batter will be thick, and you want to gently fold those berries into the batter, going from top to bottom until your berries are mixed in. Now I'm going to be spraying. I'm using this canola spray, this baking spray, and I went on and I sprayed my pan. My loaf pan that I'm using is a 9x5 loaf pan, and then once you spray, you want to be very generous with your spray on all sides as well as the bottom and the corners. And if you don't have baking spray, you can use softened butter and put softened butter all over, making sure to get in the bottom and also in the corners, and then dust your pan very nicely with some flour. So you can do the butter flour and dust it like that, so that way you can create that non-stick surface when we bake our bread. Now once you have your ingredients into your loaf pan, you want to even out and level off your ingredients in your pan as best as you can, just like I'm going to be doing. And you see how I've moved some of the strawberries. I want some of the strawberries over to the top, so that way we can have some strawberries throughout from end to end. And while I'm doing this, I have my oven is preheating on 350 degrees. So our bread is going to bake at 350 degrees for 50 minutes up to about 60 minutes. Check it at about 40 minutes just to see how it's doing. So my bread is out of the oven. Our strawberry bread is looking so good. It has risen nicely. It is smelling good. It has a beautiful, rich golden brown color. And then this is my tester here. I've had this probably like 25 years, I think. And I always like to test my bread on the inside and around the sides. And what I'm looking for is to see if I have any batter. When it comes out clean, my bread is done, because I want to make sure that I bake my bread thoroughly, but I don't want to overbaking it, because overbaking it will dry your bread out. I've let my bread cool down for about 15-20 minutes now, and then I take my butter knife and I go around the edges just to kind of loosen it up from around the edges. And then something else that I like to do is I like to take the bread and I just shake it a little bit. And so when I shake it, I can feel it lifting up. And when I know it's lifting up, I know it's going to come nice and clean out the pan, just like I did. And so when you take it out the pan, you also want to do one quick motion without hesitation, so that way your bread doesn't split on you. Okay? Now that my bread's cooled down, we're going to make our glaze. So I have here 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I melted my butter in the microwave for about 20-30 seconds, and then I let it cool. Now as it's cooling, the third cup of strawberries that we had chopped up, we're going to put that in our bowl. Then I like to use my potato masher. I'm going to mash my strawberries so that way they can start to release their natural juice. You can also do this using a fork, and so you just want to start to just mash the berries just like I'm doing there, and you see you're making kind of like a slurry of these fresh berries and just the juices coming out. Now if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to show it some love, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, I invite you to hit that subscribe button. Now once I have my berries and they are nice and mushed, I'm going to add our other ingredients to make our nice glaze. Now when it comes to the glaze or the topping for your strawberry bread, it is totally optional. You can leave it plain, and I actually ended up making a second one, and that one I didn't put any glaze on. The family gobbled up the first one. I made a second one with no glaze, but this one I'm going to put the glaze on. I'm going to share with you how to do that. If you want to put a glaze, you can even just do powdered sugar, something simple like that. But in my bowl, after I mashed the berries, I put 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, and then I'm using unsalted butter, so I put in a pinch of salt. Now if you're using salted butter, you would not need to put in the pinch of salt. Now next I'm going to put in some vanilla extract, and I'm putting in 1/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Likewise, if you want to cut the glaze down to half of what I'm using, you can just go ahead and half all the ingredients. With the vanilla extract, you would just need 1/8 of a teaspoon. If you don't have 1/8 of a teaspoon measure, just putting a drop of vanilla extract would be about the equivalent of 1/8 of a teaspoon. Now I add in the melted butter, and that was 2 tablespoons of melted butter. So I have in the third cup of strawberries that we had went on and mashed. We have in there the 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, the 1/4 a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and of course we have in the 2 tablespoons of melted butter and that 1 pinch of salt. Now in the description box below under the title, I will have a list of all the ingredients you need to make this wonderful strawberry glaze for our strawberry bread, as well as the ingredients that you need for the bread itself. And also, if you like all things strawberry like we do, I also will have a link to my vlog on my fresh strawberry pie. Now next, I have here some half and half in my measuring cup. You can use just a little bit of drops of half and half if you need to for the glaze. If your glaze is thick, you can thin it out with a little bit of half and half. So once my bread is cooled, and now it is cooled, I went on and I put on the glaze. I put it on top and I just let it cascade down the sides. And with the glaze, like I was saying, is optional. You can add the glaze, you can do powdered sugar, you can leave it plain. Now earlier when I was sharing with you, if you want to make this a mixed berry bread, and you want to use 2 or 3 different kinds of berries, you want to use still about 1.5 cups up to 2 cups. No more than 2 cups of berries, because that's pretty much all the batter can really hold and bake up well. But if you're using, say, blackberries, you want to go ahead with the blackberries, and you want them all about the same size. So you want to cut those either in half or in thirds, depending on the size of the blackberries or whatever berries that you're using. So I'm going to cut us up some, and we're going to see how we did with our strawberry bread. It is looking so good. And do you see those strawberries? They are all throughout. We have a beautiful, nice golden color to our bread. I cannot wait for y'all to try this and see how you like it. This is such a wonderful bread to bake because it complements breakfast or brunch, or if you even want to have it for a dessert and have it as dessert bread. It is nice and light and moist, and that is how it bakes up. Well, this first bite's for you. Go ahead and take your bite. Now I'm going to take my bite. Y'all, this bread, I really love this strawberry bread. This is one that I love to make throughout the spring and summer when we have those wonderful fresh berries. Well, the family went on and dug into this bread. It is nice, light, moist. Well, I hope you give this recipe a try. Well, if you're new to baking, I hope the little details that I shared with you today give you that little extra to have that baking success. I have many more quick breads that I look forward to sharing with you in the next coming weeks. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And remember, it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.